Go to college or just read books? That's next. Welcome back to the Summit Castle channel. Derek Van Schaik here. This has been argued over the internet for a while. Should we get a formal education via college, university, or should we just be an autodidact where we're learning on our own, which typically means just reading books throughout our life? On the internet and YouTube stratospheres, there are two guys who are the biggest proponents of the autodidact path. Patrick Bet-David from a YouTube channel called Valuetainment and Tai Lopez, commonly known as the Here in My Garage guy.
Here in my garage.
Both Patrick and Tai don't have college degrees at all, hardly spending any time in the classroom. Me, on the other hand, people say that I have more degrees than a thermometer, so obviously I'm able to speak for the formal education side of things. The argument for the business autodidact is that formal education is a waste of time, where little value is actually obtained. Why not just read books throughout our life and get the information that way? That's a very idealistic and rosy thought. I understand that formal business education can be boring, expensive, and stressful. However, there's a reason why so many people put themselves through it. First reason: a set degree curriculum. When we're getting a formal education, we're following a degree curriculum that builds on itself throughout the semesters. Therefore, as we go, we're learning, understanding, and mastering topics that will be used later in the curriculum. A set and defined curriculum allows for very complex and in-depth topics to be covered. Those consumer books that we see on the bookshelves of our local bookstore are meant for people with no prior knowledge on the topic to pick up, read, and understand. Obviously, the information in those books will never be as in-depth as coursework that took years to build on. Autodidacts are simply skimming the surface of the topic. Second reason: interpersonal debate. With formal education, topics are debated, not just with the professor, but also with other students. When someone is merely reading a book on their own, they don't typically discuss the topics with an expert moderator overseeing a discussion. Therefore, autodidacts aren't typically pushed to think more critically on the material. The third reason: insight from experts. The professor has typically spent a good part of his life studying, learning, and relearning the material of the course. Many professors have wrote textbooks, continue to write books, and publish articles regularly on the topic. This is their field. They spend their lives studying it. Furthermore, real-world industry experts are invited in to speak to the classes, where they entertain questions from the students and even debate topics with the students. Autodidacts don't typically get this valuable interpersonal interaction with experts. Fourth reason: instructed practice. When we get a formal education, we write papers, solve quantitative problems, make presentations, etc. Then we get direct feedback on all of our work. Could we have approached the problem better? Did we apply the finance formula incorrectly? Did we think about the concept incorrectly? Was our presentation not engaging? The feedback that we get from our instructors ensures that we understand the topic. The typical autodidact doesn't get this type of instructed practice. The fifth reason: foundational knowledge. Overall, what a formal business education gives us is solid foundational knowledge to build on throughout our life. Similar to building a structure, a formal education gives us the foundation. Without the solid foundation, the structure will always have problems. But if you don't build on that foundation, we don't have a structure. The problem is when people graduate with their degree, they have the false idea that their days of reading books and learning is over. However, the opposite should be true. When we graduate with our degree, that's when we start a lifetime of building on that foundational knowledge. Autodidact is great if you don't have the money, time, or patience for a formal education. However, there's no substitute for a formal education, while there's also no substitute for reading books and learning throughout our lives. Both are important to maximize our capabilities. Remember to hit that subscribe button so new insightful videos on success in business come right to you. And we'll see you at the top.